heard something outside.
Hey!
Right, whoever the that was has now gone.
That is a person. I'm not even joking. What the
Venturing into the woods alone at night can be terrifying. But what happens when you encounter someone or something you'd rather never meet? Like this first encounter, for example, captured by the channel Love Sundays. This footage comes from the YouTube channel Love Sundays, a channel known for its quiet solo van life videos and scenic campouts across the UK. The person behind the camera is never named, but what happens to them this night in Cornwall would make anyone question the safety of stealth camping alone. What was meant to be a peaceful night in the van quickly turned into something far more disturbing. Not only did they hear a knock, someone actually tried to break in.
They literally tried to get in the van. But before we get to that, let's find somewhere to stay the night.
The video begins like so many others, with a search for a place to sleep for the night. The van moves quietly down the narrow Cornish roads before settling on what appears to be a small, tucked-away roadside parking area, one with unclear signage and vague restrictions. The kind of spot that might raise eyebrows, but doesn't scream danger. It's quiet, empty, still, and for a while, it seems like the perfect place to disappear for the night.
This will be the last bit of daylight I'll see today.
As the last of the daylight slips away, there's a subtle shift in atmosphere. Shadows stretch longer across the van's windows. The blinds are drawn carefully, more out of caution than comfort. It's clear the goal isn't to relax, but to stay unnoticed. Every movement, every decision is calculated. Lights stay off. The bed remains half-assembled. Even dinner is cooked in silence, with the doors sealed shut, to avoid drawing attention.
If this is too much, it will go off. I've also cracked the window at the front just to let some of the heat out, but I have no idea why I chose.
Heat begins to build inside. The air is thick, and even simple tasks like boiling pasta become a struggle. Still, the camper chooses sweat and discomfort over visibility. It's safer that way. A cracked window lets some of the heat escape, but it also lets sound travel more freely, something that would matter later on. For now, the night is still innocent. A solo dinner, a quick walk, a joke about being the person spotted wandering with a meal in hand. But soon, the light-hearted tone would fade.
I am going to go outside though, just to check to see how well the blackout curtain's working. I don't want to have all the lights on in here if you can see any form of light peeking out through the curtains.
With the sun now gone, the camper steps outside briefly to inspect how well the blackout curtains are working. It's almost pitch black. Nearly impossible to see the van unless you already knew where it was. That's exactly the point. Being invisible is the only form of protection. Moments later, the door locks click into place, and the camera captures the evening ritual. Keys within reach, sweets for a movie, and a quiet wish for an undisturbed night.
I just heard something outside. Okay, I think they've gone.
But that wish doesn't last. Out of nowhere, a sharp knock breaks the silence. Then another. The kind of knock that isn't curious, but purposeful. Aggressive. Someone is outside the van. And they're not just knocking, they're trying the handle.
My heart was pounding then. I mean, they were either trying to move me on or trying to break into the van. Either way, not pleasant. I'm not moving. I'm probably not going to sleep now though.
The footage doesn't show what's outside, but it doesn't need to. You can hear the adrenaline in the camper's breath. A decision is made. Stay silent, don't move, and pray that whoever it is walks away. The knock wasn't a mistake. It wasn't a random passerby. It was someone testing the door, trying to get in. Whether they were trying to rob the van or scare the person inside, it doesn't matter. The fear it caused was real. Even after they're gone, the tension doesn't fade. The camper checks outside cautiously, speaking with a voice still rattled by what just happened. A metal pole is shown briefly, a last resort that thankfully didn't need to be used. But the threat lingered, and so did the uncertainty. Were they spotted earlier? Was someone watching the van all along? It's impossible to say.
Morning.
Morning.
That looks good. We're going home for that now.
That knock last night could have been a number of things. It could have simply been somebody trying to break into the van. It does look like a builder's van kind of from the outside, so they might have been trying to break in and get some tools, but then if that was the case, then they probably wouldn't have just tried the doors. I tried to be really stealthy and not let anyone know that I was staying in it, but you know, maybe it's the roof deck that gives me away now.
Morning eventually comes, and with it, a strange sense of irony. Other vans have appeared, parked casually nearby with pop-tops extended, as if this place had always been safe, as if nothing ever happened. But for the person in this van, sleep never came. Not really. The fear from the night before hung in the air like a fog, heavier than any blanket. The knock could have been anything, they say. But deep down, there's an unshakable feeling that it wasn't innocent, that someone deliberately tried to enter. The camper questions whether the van's appearance made it look unoccupied, like a target. Or maybe they weren't just after tools. Maybe someone knew they were inside. Either way, it changed something.
So if you're going to take anything from this video, and you're planning on camping in your van at the side of the road or anything like that, just take this one thing away. When you've packed up and you're ready to go, just make sure that the parking space that you're in is as clean, if not cleaner, than when you arrived. Leave no trace.
Before packing up, there's one final reminder. Leave no trace. The water from the night before is poured down the toilet. No signs are left behind. But the psychological imprint of that night, the fear, the noise, the uncertainty, that doesn't wash away as easily. It follows you. It makes you rethink every decision, every noise, every knock.
You were lovely, apart from the fright I had.
And even though the camper jokes with the land, calling it lovely despite the fright, it's clear this wasn't just another night on the road. It was a close encounter with something real. Something that reminds us how vulnerable we truly are when we sleep alone, behind thin walls, with no one around to help. Have you ever found yourself in a moment where something just felt off? For those who travel alone, that quiet inner warning isn't just intuition. It's often the only line between safety and something far more sinister. In June 2024, an anonymous YouTube channel named Creepy Outdoors uploaded a short but chilling video. It opens without warning, throwing viewers straight into the scene. James, a man camping deep in the woods, accompanied only by his loyal dog Micah. But as night falls, the calm quickly unravels. Something strange begins to stir around them, and both man and dog can feel it. Not long after, they begin to hear it too.
Come, stay. Stay here, good boy. Good boy, stay, sit down. Hello? What the fuck? What the? Calm down. Mika, come back. Oh shit. This dog is... Come here. What are you doing? Stay here. What's out there, boy? I have no idea what the hell this is. I'm hoping it's like a bear or something just walking by, but there's these banging sounds on both ends. I'm not. Stay. Hello? Is anybody out there? Okay, well, out of all my camping trip, I've never been this freaked out.
Micah repeatedly wanders off into the pitch black forest, while James remains close to the fire, his only sense of safety. No matter how many times James calls, Micah refuses to stay put. They can hear movement, rustling, and strange noises echoing around them, but whoever, or whatever, is out there stays hidden. When James finally decides it's time to leave, to escape whatever is stalking them, Micah vanishes into the darkness one last time and returns limping, his paw injured.
Mika, hey, stay. Mika, come back. What are you doing? This is not like him. What are you doing? Are you all right? What's going on, bud? Is your paw hurting? Come on back. Come back to the fire. Come. Come on. If I hear anything more, I'll keep you guys posted. But for now, this is Creepy Outdoors.
The video cuts off abruptly, leaving one haunting question behind. Did James and Micah make it out alive? Was it a bear, just as James desperately hoped? Or something far more terrifying? We still don't know why Micah kept heading toward the threat, or what exactly he saw out there in the shadows. The wilderness offers solitude, a peaceful escape from the noise of civilization. But sometimes that noise follows you, bringing with it a type of horror you can't outrun. This encounter that proves the most dangerous predator in the woods often walks on two legs. This clip will make you question who else is out there, just beyond the tree line. This video comes from Luke, the seasoned outdoorsman behind the Outdoor Gear Review, a channel known for honest gear reviews, peaceful camping trips, and raw, unfiltered backcountry experiences. Luke doesn't chase drama, but on this trip, it found him anyway. It's a humid morning in early September. Luke is heading deep into the remote wilderness of Virginia for a solo truck camping trip. His goal, to beat the heat, test his gear, and enjoy the solitude of the mountains. But what begins as a peaceful escape quickly turns into a night he'll never forget.
My friends, this is absolutely perfect in so many ways. This is the perfect spot. 68 degrees right now, up in the fog. The chances for rain, they're high. So, first things first, I'm going to show you all around. Then I'm going to set up a tarp over the back of my truck so I can have a nice, good, livable area where I could stay dry just in case it rains.
By midday, Luke reaches his destination, a fog-covered mountaintop road surrounded by thick forest. The temperature has dropped to 68 degrees, a welcome relief from the sweltering valley below. It's quiet, still, almost too still. Luke sets up camp near the edge of the forest and strings a tarp over the bed of his truck. His voice is calm, his movements relaxed. But in the distance, dark clouds begin to build.
Lunch is going to be very, very simple, everyone. Simple, but tasty. Sourdough bread, ham, cheddar cheese.
Oh, yeah.
give it a shot. That is awesome. The black flies out here, they're annoying. They are really, really annoying. Because of my ankle being so sore after that short 34-mile hike, I don't plan to do much hiking on this trip. This really is more about just hanging out here at camp and relaxing. Now, there are a set of towers over here. We may actually hike the road and go check those out here in a minute. For individuals who like to go like myself, taking it easy, that could be hard to do. There's something mildly uncomfortable about just sitting around not doing anything, at least for myself. What about you? Do you have the same issue? I like to just be on my feet. I like to be moving. So, like, taking time to recover, to heal up, yeah, it's a little bit, what's the word? Unfamiliar, maybe? Something like that.
The sound of thunder rolls across the hills. Storms are brewing in 3 directions, but none are overhead yet. Luke keeps a close eye on the sky. He's no stranger to rough weather, but there's something about this system that feels unpredictable. Patches of heavy rain pass just beyond the ridge, never quite reaching his camp. The air feels charged.
Check this out, the sky is bizarre looking. What is that? Hopefully that's showing up on camera. That's incredible. It's like a sideways rainbow in a cloud. I've never seen anything like that before. I'm not sure how good that looks on camera, but in person.
As Luke films the horizon, he captures something strange. A sideways rainbow forming within a cloud, unnatural in color, oddly positioned, and gone just as quickly as it appeared. It's beautiful, but disorienting. The sky doesn't look right.
Absolutely bizarre. I hear a vehicle coming. It came down, turned around, went back out. From the moment I heard that vehicle, I mean, I could still hear her. She's laughing hysterically, but not a normal laugh. Anytime that you go to remote areas, at first I was confused. I was like, what the is that, right? And then as it got closer and closer, I'm like, okay. Like, instantly my spidey senses went off, telling me, hey, like, something's wrong. You need to be prepared. I am. You never know. They could be the salt of the earth, the best people in the whole world, but they might not be. And you have to make a judgment call. And you have to live with the repercussions. Just really, really bizarre. Really, really bizarre. I mean, she wasn't laughing like that because she smoked a joint.
Just after sunset, a vehicle suddenly approaches the campsite. It rolls in slowly, stops, then backs out without explanation. From inside, Luke hears hysterical laughter, piercing and erratic. Not the laugh of someone telling a joke, but the uncontrolled sound of someone deeply unstable. And it doesn't stop. Luke recounts the moment, visibly unsettled. My spidey senses went off, he says. He doesn't panic, but he doesn't let his guard down either. This isn't the first time he's crossed paths with people acting strangely in remote areas. But this woman's laughter isn't just bizarre, it feels dangerous. The kind of energy that flips without warning.
Since having the encounter with that woman who was laughing in that truck yesterday, that has been on my mind basically for this entire trip. It has been a long time since I've seen someone that messed up. Like, she was just laughing non-stop. I mean, it went on for maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes, something like that. I kept hearing some guy yelling at her, telling her to shut up. And like, she would stop for a second and then go right back to it. Folks, that's the real world.
Even the next morning, Luke admits that the encounter has stayed with him. The sound of her laughter went on for nearly 30 minutes. Somewhere in the woods beyond his campsite, he could hear a man shouting at her, angry, urgent, but ineffective. She would pause, and then start laughing again. He doesn't know what they were on. He doesn't care. He's just glad they didn't come back. This wasn't a paranormal experience. There were no shadows in the trees or whispers in the fog. But it was terrifying in its own way, because it was real. Luke went into the mountains looking for peace, but what he found was a reminder of how unpredictable people can be when they're not in control of themselves, and how vulnerable you are when you're miles from help. Sometimes the wilderness isn't what you have to fear. Sometimes it's who finds you in it. A solo camping trip is meant to be a peaceful escape from the world. But for one camper, the silence of the forest was shattered by noises that didn't belong, turning a quiet night into a harrowing ordeal. We'll explore a chilling encounter that proves you're never truly alone in the woods. This video comes from Grizzly Gaz, a seasoned solo camper from West Yorkshire, who has spent years exploring the same dense, secluded valley, returning time and time again to a particular site he considered safe, familiar, even comforting. For over 4 years, this hidden spot served as his retreat. But tonight, that familiarity is shattered. What begins as a typical wild camping trip quickly spirals into one of the most unnerving nights Gaz has ever endured. From the very start, things feel off. The moment he arrives, he finds signs of vandalism, burnt mattresses, sawed-down trees, and trash scattered everywhere. Not only is the serenity of the woods disrupted, but something about the atmosphere itself feels heavier. There's tension in the air, and Gaz, despite brushing it off, seems to carry a weight with every step.
What the fuck? What the fuck is that?
Late into the night, as rain taps gently against his shelter, a sudden gurgling noise cuts through the stillness. It's faint, but unmistakable. Wet, guttural, and drawn out. Gaz doesn't say much at first, but his body language gives everything away. He freezes, listens, looks around with narrowed eyes. It's not a sound the forest typically makes, and it doesn't seem to come from any animal he recognizes. The resemblance to the chilling audio from the Grudge movie is eerie, and impossible to ignore.
Oh, come on, someone's fucking with us. Someone's got to be fucking with us, haven't they? Torch.
When another noise pierces the silence, this time more violent and closer to camp, Gaz leaps up. His eyes widen as he scans the darkened tree line, fumbling to put on his boots. There's no humor in his voice now, only alertness, a readiness for confrontation or escape. He mutters something under his breath, but his stare remains locked toward the stream where the sound may have originated. The fire has died down, and the only light comes from inside the tent. Outside, the woods are nearly pitch black. The wind starts to rise, pushing against the canvas walls and whistling through the bare trees. But it's not just the wind. Something else, something moving, cracking twigs as it goes, lingers just beyond view. Gaz sits upright, unmoving, barely breathing, as the sound circles the perimeter of his camp.
Oh. I know it's someone fucking with me. Got a big dog here. And a nice knife with your name on it. What the fuck?
Suddenly, a loud crack, a branch snapping under weight, echoes from the right side of camp. It's forceful, deliberate, not the result of wind or falling debris. Gaz's dog perks up immediately, growling low and steady, ears fixed in one direction. She senses it too. Whatever is out there isn't passing through. It's watching. By now, Gaz is speaking directly into the darkness. Not with fear, but with warning. He keeps a knife close and calls out as if someone or something might actually respond. His voice is calm but firm, layered with a tension that betrays his nerves. The dog stands beside him, silent, alert. Neither of them dares to step outside the tent. Whatever is happening out there has turned this quiet valley into a place of suspicion and dread.
I kept hearing twigs breaking or branches breaking. You alright, mate? It's alright, chill out. And I heard it sounded like a pig, but we ain't got any pigs over here. In England, well, not that I know of anyway. Fucking hell, Fendi. Could have been people just fucking around, couldn't it? Try to scare me and that. Well, they succeeded for a bit. That wind's picking up again. Hi, I can hear you. What the fuck?
The branches continue snapping, now from multiple directions. Every time Gaz starts to settle, another sound jolts him upright. A distant grunt, almost like a pig, rises from the darkness, and his expression shifts from confusion to unease. There are no wild pigs in this part of Yorkshire. At least, there shouldn't be. He tries to rationalize it, blaming the wind, maybe pranksters, maybe wildlife. But the sequence of sounds doesn't match up. The pacing, the snapping, the splashing in the nearby stream. It all feels too deliberate. Like someone or something is toying with him, trying to make him leave. Later, after what feels like hours of tense silence, another sound cuts through. A voice? A whisper? It's faint, but Gaz reacts instantly, snapping his head toward the stream again. He listens, frozen in place. Then, just as suddenly, it stops, as if whatever was out there decided it had done enough.
Well, good morning. If you can say good morning. It's only just stopped raining now. I've been awake for about an hour. What time is it? 20 past 6. Yeah, so about an hour I've been awake. Got woke up by some stupid birds chirping away. Just after 5. That woke me up. I thought I'd be able to get my head back down for a bit, but...
Morning comes slowly. The rain has stopped, and the birds have returned, but Gaz doesn't look rested. He's been awake since before dawn, lying motionless inside his tent, waiting for light to return. As he unzips the flap and peers outside, his face reveals what words can't. He's not relieved. He's still scanning the trees.
I'm gonna get out and check everything. There doesn't seem to be anything missing or damaged. The only thing that I've seen that's damaged is this that was on the floor, this stick. Looks like it's been chewed a bit. So
Outside, everything looks untouched. No footprints, no signs of wildlife, no evidence at all that something had stalked him through the night. Except for one odd detail, a stick near the fire pit, partially chewed, lying at an unnatural angle. Gaz stares at it for a long moment, unsure what to make of it. It's not enough to prove anything, but it's enough to make him pack up quicker than usual. Gaz has returned to this spot more times than he can count. But this night has changed something. The stream, the trees, the slope of the land, they're all the same. Yet now they carry an edge. The kind that doesn't come from weather or wildlife. The kind that settles into your gut and lingers long after you leave. Whether it was a prank, an animal, or something more sinister, Gaz won't forget this camp. And if you listen closely, neither will you. The freedom of van life promises adventure, but what happens when that freedom leads you into a situation where you're alone, vulnerable, and a target in the dead of night? Tonight, we explore a terrifying ordeal that turns a simple camping trip into a desperate escape. This footage serves as a chilling reminder that sometimes the greatest dangers aren't in the wild, but in the shadows of civilization. This footage was captured by a solo traveler named Brendan, who documents his adventures on the YouTube channel Brendan Explores. Known for peaceful van life episodes across the UK, this video was never meant to be anything different. The plan was simple: drive to the coast, cook a meal, and spend a quiet night near the seaside. But what began as a lighthearted exploration would turn into a night that no amount of preparation could make safe. Because what happened after the sun went down wasn't just unsettling, it was dangerous.
Just around the corner, apparently. No way. Must we just stay down here? Oh my god. Look at all that. Sounds like a flipping bonfire or something. In there. Looks like a few of these bins have been set on fire a few times.
After scouting a few uneasy parking spots and driving through a town whose reputation didn't inspire much confidence, the van finally settles into a car park tucked away behind a row of buildings. There's nothing immediately threatening about the surroundings, just empty concrete, aging signage, and a faint smell of sea salt hanging in the air. But there's also no one else here. No campers, no families, no lights. And for a solo traveler, that kind of isolation can feel like both a blessing and a threat.
We'll go and see what the restrictions are in this parking spot, but I feel a lot safer here than I would have done at St. Christopher's Way. That looked like a bit of a dodgy street, that. First off, let's go and check what the parking restrictions are, see if we can stay here overnight.
The sun is still up when dinner is made, but the decision to cook early reveals something deeper. An instinct to keep things discreet. The bubbling of curry and the quiet clinking of pots echo softly in the confined space of the van, while outside, faint sounds of people in the distance fade away. As dusk begins to roll in, the neighborhood seems to hollow out completely. No more passing cars, no chatter, just a stillness that feels too complete. The camper doesn't say it out loud, but the decision to finish early and remain out of sight speaks volumes.
night, after traipsing around for the last 20 minutes to half hour trying to find a spot, there's apparently a quiet little park up at the end here, maybe. This'll do me. I'm alone, but I mean there's no other houses around me, so it's not as if I'm alone in a housing estate. It is literally pitch black.
By now, the meal is finished, and yet something has shifted. The earlier traces of life, nearby cars, a parked van, are now gone. What remains is silence and a creeping awareness that the van is now the only vehicle in the entire lot. Even before the first sign of trouble, the camper decides to move. Not because anything has happened, but because it might. It's a small decision, one made in the space between bites and thoughts, but it's a decision that likely prevented something worse. A new spot is found after nearly half an hour of searching. It's further out, more isolated, and yet somehow feels safer. There are no houses, no eyes watching from windows, just a dirt track and empty black fields stretching out in every direction. It's the kind of place where noise doesn't travel far, and if something does happen, no one would hear it. And yet, despite the complete darkness, there's a sense of relief. For now.
Alrighty. Oh, nice and quiet here. Not even a sound of a distant car. Just how I like it. I don't think you can see much out there, but it's absolutely dead quiet. But thank you ever so much for joining me. I will bring you back in the morning and I'll show you a proper look at this place.
The night deepens. Inside the van, a curtain is drawn. A screen flickers softly with a comfort show playing in the background, and a snack rustles in hand. Outside, there's nothing but wind. And still, somehow, the silence feels different here. Less civilized, more raw. But there's no sound of footsteps, no sign of movement. Just the long, stretched-out quiet that seems to press against the van walls like a presence waiting for an invitation.
Someone just tried the door. Hey! Right, whoever the that was has now gone. Where's my phone?
Then, without warning, the door handle rattles. A sharp, unmistakable sound. A test, a probe, maybe even a mistake. But it confirms the fear that had been quietly brewing all evening. Someone is outside, and they're not just watching. They're trying to get in. It's impossible to see who it was, but the threat is real. The camper doesn't wait. There's no yelling, no confrontation, just panic. The engine is started with shaking hands, and the van jolts into motion, tearing through the dark with no clear destination other than away. In the chaos, a phone is dropped, heart racing, breath uneven. The fear isn't just about who was outside. It's about what could have happened if they hadn't left. The thought of being alone, trapped inside a van, with nowhere to run if the glass had shattered. It lingers.
I wasn't exactly concentrating on, should I film this, should I film that, so there wasn't really a lot to film afterwards. I just, quite frankly, just wanted to go home. I was really, I wasn't in a good mind space. After cleaning a little bit of broken glass from my driver's seat and the dashboard, you'd be surprised how far glass goes when it smashes. I've been finding little bits everywhere, but the van was in no fit state to continue camping in, and nor was my headspace, should we say. So I made the long journey back home. I think it was a good three and a half hour drive back to my house in Shrewsbury. Got there just before sunrise. Not a pleasant drive, to say the least. Thankfully, the weather was quite kind to me and it wasn't raining, but you would not believe my spots to camp a little bit differently in future. What used to be the golden egg of finding a nice little quiet spot in the middle of nowhere with no road noise, let's just say it isn't exactly prime picking anymore. I think it's places like that that would-be thieves would see a vehicle by itself and see it as a target. I personally think they saw the fridge covered up in the front. After trying the side door and seeing that they couldn't get in, obviously the curtains were closed, so they can't see inside, although I did see a couple of flashes of a bit of a torch. But they probably saw inside the front cab, saw the curtain covering this huge box, and I can only assume they thought it was a toolbox or something.
There's no footage of what came next, only a voice recounting the cold drive home, the shattered window, and the empty road that followed. The van, once a symbol of freedom and self-reliance, now feels violated. Even the warmth of the heater can't undo what happened in that silent field. And maybe that's the most disturbing part. Not what was taken, but what was threatened. Safety, control, the illusion that being alone in nature always means being free. This wasn't just a knock. It wasn't even just a break-in. It was a reminder that when the world grows quiet and the streets are empty, you might not be as alone as you think. They say the best camps are the quietest ones. The ones far from traffic, far from lights, far from anyone. But maybe not always. Maybe there's a kind of silence that doesn't soothe but warns. A silence that tells you when it's time to leave. And next time, if you hear a knock in the night, don't wait to find out who it is. Spending a night alone near a haunted forest is a recipe for terror. But what happens when the local legends prove to be all too real? This is a chilling encounter that will make you question what lurks in the shadows. This footage will make you bolt your doors and stay far, far away from the woods. This footage was captured by Ads, a UK-based content creator who shares his solo stealth camping adventures on his YouTube channel, Ads Ventures. In this particular video, he took his micro stealth camper van out for a Halloween night exploration, one that started off playful, lighthearted, and in search of ghosts. But what unfolded in the dark woods that evening was something far more disturbing. This was no longer just a seasonal thrill. It became an experience so unsettling that even Ads, an experienced solo camper, questioned whether he'd ever attempt something like it again. It's late October, and the cold has started to settle across the British countryside. Ads sets out with the intention of spending the night in a notoriously haunted woodland, a location steeped in local legend. With the van parked just outside a cemetery and the last of the daylight slipping away, he begins his night with a mix of excitement and caution, completely unaware of how quickly things would turn.
We're in. So I am going to go into the woods, but first of all I'm starving hungry, so I'm going to make something simple. So legend has it that the ghosts from the cemetery roam the woods at night. I mean, standard behaviour, right? If I was a ghost, I'd do the exact same thing. Ghosts need exercise too, and I think they're not allowed in the gym. But apparently the vicar, or whoever it was that used to live in the little churchyard next to the cemetery, started going insane because of all the ghosts that he saw. And the story goes that one night he walked out into the woods and shot himself. So now I guess the woods are doubly haunted with the vicar and the existing ghosts. I mean, what more could you want?
Backlit by the dimming sky, Ad stands just outside the woods, his breath visible in the chill as he prepares something simple to eat before venturing into the darkness. The comfort of a hot meal seems to ground him, a small ritual before crossing into the unknown. In the background, the towering silhouettes of leafless trees seem to lean inward, almost as if listening. As he recounts the grim story behind the area, of a vicar said to have gone mad from the apparitions he saw wandering the cemetery and ultimately taking his own life in the woods, the mood shifts. The humor in Ads' tone doesn't quite mask the tension, and though he keeps things light, the layers of unease begin to thicken. The camera subtly picks up the cemetery to the left, old gravestones blanketed in damp moss, barely visible in the fading light.
I've got a bit of a problem. I cannot see a thing with this light shining in my eyes. So this is coming into the woods now, and on the left is the little church house.
Now fully immersed in the wooded path, Ads enters with only his flashlight and camera. The trees crowd tightly together and the trail becomes harder to follow. Shadows stretch unnaturally across the ground, and the faint sounds of the forest, dry leaves rustling, distant creaks, become oddly amplified. He passes by the edge of the cemetery where a forgotten headstone reads 1908 and pauses at a grave containing 3 names etched into a single slab. The silence here is deeper, heavier.
I'm gonna go deeper into the woods because I don't think if I was a ghost and I come out of the cemetery, why would you knock about just on the outskirts? Do you know what I mean? You sleep there all day, you're gonna want to go into the woods. What the?
Pushing deeper into the woods, away from the edge of the cemetery, adds remarks on the logical place a ghost might drift to, further from where it sleeps during the day. The logic is tongue-in-cheek, but the isolation is very real. The path disappears into thickets. It's as if the woods are swallowing him whole.
The hell was that? What's that? I've come up to that bit where the light was just shining. What? It's moved. I'm gonna have to go and check that out. Where the hell is it coming from?
As he navigates a steep, unmarked trail, Ads spots something unusual, an object glinting in the dark. At first it appears to be a harmless reflective surface, but upon closer inspection, it's a card left purposefully. If you find this, pay it forward. Do something kind today. In another context, this would feel wholesome. But here, alone in a haunted forest, it feels like a taunt. The ground drops steeply just beyond it, a hidden decline that could easily catch someone off guard in the dark. Ads lingers for a moment, the camera capturing how far down the slope disappears into blackness.
I swear, I keep seeing someone. Hold on. There's no one there, I swear. That is a person. I'm not even joking. What the f?
As he starts to retreat toward the familiar path, something catches his eye. A flicker of movement. A figure, still humanoid, standing in the distance. Ads freezes. His breath quickens. His body visibly stiffens. He raises the camera, scanning the space, but the darkness is suffocating. One moment it's there, the next it's gone. The light from his camera is dying. And now, so is his confidence. Another glimpse, clearer this time. A person, not a shadow, not a trick of the light. Standing, watching, then gone again. Ads is silent, stunned, trying to rationalize. Was it just a Halloween prank? Someone messing around in the woods? But the terrain is unforgiving. Whoever or whatever it was had been standing somewhere no one should have been able to access so easily.
I've been sat here now for about 15 minutes in silence, and I've come to 2 rational conclusions as to what the hell just happened. Number 1, that was somebody playing a prank, a Halloween prank or whatever. And if that's the case, fair play, they got me good. Number 2 is the more likely option. I was seeing things, and if that's the case, you guys are probably laughing at me because you would be able to see on the camera clearer than I could. See, there's a light that sits on the top of my camera. It was shining in my eyes when I was using the camera. Even when I wasn't, I still couldn't see because my eyes hadn't adjusted. There's got to be fireworks. I have tried to look on the screen on the camera at the footage, but this screen's so small and it's real dark and I can't see much on there either. One thing that you guys don't know is that before I had that hot chocolate, I might have had a large cup of Bailey. I might have had a large cup of Baileys before I had that hot chocolate, which means I can't drive anywhere, so whether I like it or not.
15 minutes later, Ads sits frozen, processing what just happened. His voice is quieter now, slower. The adrenaline has dulled into something more reflective. Uncertainty. He offers 2 possible explanations, a prank or his imagination, but neither is comforting. The bright light on his camera, he says, blinded him as he filmed, making it hard to see in the moment. But even now, reviewing the footage on the small screen, he can't make out what or who he saw. Only the lingering sensation remains, cold and unmistakable. He tries to laugh it off, even admits to drinking a bit before heading out, but there's an underlying current of dread in his voice. He cannot leave. He had a drink and is now bound to the woods until morning. The camper van becomes his only refuge, but after what he just saw, even that feels vulnerable. The woods are no longer playful. They're not haunted in theory anymore. They're haunted in practice.
Good morning, people. I've had a surprisingly comfortable sleep. I didn't get disturbed again. What if I did? I slept through it.
The following morning, the tone shifts again. The sunlight has returned, filtering softly through the trees, casting warm light over the damp forest floor. Ad steps out, rested, or at least no longer visibly shaken. He claims nothing disturbed him in the night. Or if it did, he slept through it. But his expressions say something different, a kind of quiet disorientation, the kind you carry with you after something you can't explain.
The hell is that? My handbrake wasn't off properly. But right now I'm going to go home, I'm going to check out the footage on the laptop and hopefully find out that I was just imagining things last night. And then I'm going to edit the video and prepare for a new road trip this week.
As he prepares to leave, Ads thanks his viewers. He says he enjoyed about 90% of the night and jokes that maybe it was all in his head. But just before he departs, the camera picks up something subtle, a mechanical sound, a strange movement. The handbrake wasn't fully engaged. The van shifts ever so slightly. It's probably nothing. But in a place like this, after a night like that, even small things feel ominous. In the end, Ads makes it home. He plans to review the footage and upload the video. But one thing is clear, this wasn't the kind of Halloween trip he expected. What began as a fun ghost hunt turned into a haunting memory, something he can't quite explain or forget. Whether it was real or imagined, prank or presence, the woods left their mark. And next time, he says, he'll be picking a different location. But that's the thing about fear. It doesn't always come from the place. Sometimes it follows you home. Now that was all for today, folks. If you enjoyed these clips, subscribe to my channel and click to see more on the video on screen.